This is a wave propagation made in Blender, and here's how you can create your own one. So we will use the simulation zone in geometry nodes, and we will add a grease pencil object in the end in order to make this animation happen. The first thing we do is delete the input and use points instead. I use this point and use a join geometry node. This will be part of our simulation. And when I enter this here and start the simulation, and I can see for every simulation step, this simulation zone repeats, and for now it just adds 1 point. Now I can do something with the named attribute node, store named attribute node. And I add an age parameter. This will be an integer. I'm starting at 0. And for every step, I want to iterate this age. So currently it's always 0. But now I can put this one to 1 when I duplicate this node here. And then I say named attribute, age, and math node, add 1. And when I press play again, now I can see the values are increasing. Nice. Let me quickly resort this a bit. And now I can do things with this named attribute. For example, I can say set position, and I want to offset this by the named attribute age, and now I have this line of points. Okay, maybe I add another math node and multiply this by 0.1 so that the dots are a bit closer together. Of course, multiply. Nice. Now I might want to not keep all the dots, but I want to have like a threshold condition. So when there's a dot over 50, then I want to delete this object. So I can add a delete geometry node, and I want to delete the named attribute based on the named attribute age. And this should only be deleted when the age is greater than 50. Okay, let's see if that works. I now press play. Then the maximum value that I get is the number 50, and there's never the point where I get more than 50 points. Nice. But this is still too much. I don't want to add another point for every frame, and this is why I add another node here. And this is the modular node, where I compare the screen time with a factor, so modulo, and the frame modulo 10 should be 1. So like this. So when I'm at frame 1 divided by 10 is 0, and the remainder is 1, and this is equal. So this is the condition where I want to join my geometry. Like this. Okay, and now I get only points every 10 frames. I could also put this one to 5, then I would get even more, but I like it with 10. Let's also organize this one. Okay, at this point I want to change the points now into spheres or into circles, so I can use the curve circle node. And I join this one into my geometry. And when I go now back to the start frame, then I get this one. Okay, but yeah, I don't want them to move into this direction, but I want them to grow in size, and this is why I can use another named attribute, and I'm using the normal of these circles, and I store them as a normal object. And here in our simulation zone, I can now set the position of these objects by the named attribute. The normal object. And yeah, now they are scaling, but here in this case I should store them as a vector, and here also I store them as a vector, and now I get this nice result. Here I can also see my age is increasing, my normal object is there, and for every loop I offset these by the normal. I can also scale the normal a bit. I didn't want this to happen. Let's scale this one by 0.1, and then we get a bit smaller waves. Okay, also this one we don't need at the moment, so I'll just delete it. Okay, now we have a wave emitter. Next I want to convert this to grease pencil. Curve to grease pencil, this one. And when I have this one set, then I probably have to disable this feature, but now I have my grease pencil object. I can also set a material, and here I get these grease pencil materials, for example the blue color. And I can also set the curve radius a bit higher, maybe 0.1, and now I get this very nice animation. Another thing I like to add is here in the end I want to reduce the opacity, so I can add another node called store named attribute opacity, and this one will be based on a map range, and I'm using as a value, I'm using the age of these curve elements, because they are aging with every iteration, and from the value 30 on, so from frame 30 until frame 40, I want to increase or decrease the opacity from 1 to 0. Nice, that's something I like. And last but not least, I want to control the point where the waves are starting, and this can be done by adding an empty. I use the empty sphere and go back to my geometry nodes tree, insert this one here, and here I can use a simple set position node, and the location should be the offset. So when I now move this empty around, okay, now maybe it should be the location, not the rotation. And when I move this one around, then I can see that the waves are emitted by this object. I can even go here, insert a keyframe, and insert another keyframe somewhere here. And now I get this wave effect. I hope you find this useful and see you in the next tutorial.